Hi and welcome to Paynes of Hinckley. I am Sian Gabidon and you join me at what is a very exciting time as we introduce you to Ford's first ever fully electric commercial vehicle, the all-new e-Transit.
Transit is the best-selling cargo van in the world and has been the mainstay of millions of commercial vehicle customers and their businesses since it was first launched back in 1965. And that was the year man first walked in space. And now, 57 years later, and e-Transit is hitting similar groundbreaking milestones, thanks to the latest in vehicle connectivity, EV technology, fast flexible charging options, and a raft of exciting innovation from the designers and engineers at Ford. Transit is a vehicle that has touched most of our lives, from house moves to moving people, to being a mobile office or workstation, to being the facilitator of the fast and efficient deliveries that we all now rely on. Put simply, Transit is the vehicle to get the job done.
Now, I am not on my own today at Paynes of Hinckley. I am joined by Dan, who is the sales manager here. Dan, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Now, this is pretty much a historic moment for Transit, so how excited are you to introduce the commercial vehicle customers to the new e-Transit?
At Paynes, we're extremely excited for this new product, not only because it's a new product in the sense of all electric, but we're extremely excited by this because it's the start of like a new generation of vehicles coming through, having all electric range over the next few years.
Definitely. Have you driven it yet, Dan?
I got to drive it this afternoon, and again, I was absolutely blown away. It was a fantastic product.
It was a good drive.
Absolutely, yeah.
Perfect. Okay, so tell us a bit more about the heritage here at Paynes of Hinckley.
So Paynes of Hinckley, it was founded in 1907 by our MD's grandfather.
Wow.
We've been a Ford main dealer since 1922, so this is 100 years this year for us, so good timing
Big
in
year.
that sense, absolutely.
Big year.
So 100 years, you'd hope we'd know what we're doing with transits by now.
Yes, definitely. Well, thank you, Dan. Thank you for being here. That's fab. Guys, we are live on Facebook right now, so if you've got any questions at all about the e-Transit, send them in. The team here at Paynes of Hinckley would be happy to come back to you with any answers. Give us a like, give us a share. Any transit enthusiasts out there, make sure that they're involved, they're watching, they're listening and they're learning. We spoke to Dan briefly, we've seen a little bit of the vehicle, so let's take a closer look at some of the key features of the new e-Transit. Okay, so let's start here at the unique front grille. So the first thing you're going to spot are the kind of really nice blue highlights to the actual design of the front grille. But what's amazing about this is it actually doubles up as, if we pop this open, as a charging point for the vehicle. Now, we'll talk about charging in way more detail as we go along, but the headline news is it's best in class with a 196-mile range. That's 3 times the daily average of commercial vehicle customers in Europe. You have fast and flexible charging options. So if you are charging from a workplace, for example, you'd be looking at full charge in around about 8 hours. If you're out and about on the road and you can get to a DC fast charging point, you're looking at around about 80% charging, as little as 34 minutes. So there's a couple of different options there. And as we move around to the side of the vehicle, what you will notice, or should I say what you actually won't notice, is really any difference. This is very much still a Transit. It comes in 25 different variants in terms of wheelbase and height, and because of the position of the battery and the load floor, the payload and load cube remain completely unchanged. And to show you just how little has actually changed, we took the e-Transit, we put it next to its much loved diesel counterpart, and we asked Nick Day to show you around.
As we've already been hearing, the all-new e-Transit is still very much the Transit we all know and love. And it's no surprise there's many similarities both internally and externally. So we thought it'd be a really good idea to just show you how familiar you're going to be with this e-Transit by comparing it side to side with one of its diesel counterparts, in particular the rear doors and the load area. Now here at the rear, you'll be hard pressed to play a game of Spot the Difference. The only external clue that this is an e-Transit is the unique badging. Let's open the doors and have a look and see what's going on inside. Internally, the load carrying capabilities that make the Transit such a workhorse remain largely unchanged. We have a load area of just over 15 metres cubed and a payload of 1,758 kilos for the van and more for the chassis cab. With tie-down points and our rack mounting capabilities that we're used to. If you already work with our qualified vehicle modifiers for your company's conversions, I'm almost certain there'll be no problem at all. Now the clever part of the design is even with the battery sitting in the chassis here below the load floor, we could see a difference in load height between 3 and 5 centimetres. But parked next to the all-wheel drive diesel version, you can see they're almost identical. Hopefully you've seen now that the all-new e-Transit is still very much a Transit, now though with the addition of the exciting electric drivetrain. Let's head back to the dealership and learn about options for charging.
So there we have it. We can see the new e-Transit is very much still the transit workhorse we all know and love. It's simply now powered by a cleaner, more efficient option of battery and motor. So let's take a closer look at the EV tech that goes into the heart of the Mach-E, and let's start with the battery. The e-Transit's 400-volt battery is positioned in a sealed structural box under the floor and has a usable capacity of 68 kilowatts per hour, which equates in layman's terms to a best-in-class range of up to 196 miles. And as you can see here, the motor is positioned in the rear subframe and the ride is now improved with the help of independent coil spring rear suspension. And as we've already heard from Nick, with the battery sitting neatly underneath the floor, there's no loss of payload. And e-Transits have been designed to be fast and flexible when it comes to charging, as we've already touched on. You're able to plan and control all of the charging options via the Ford Pass Pro app or the Ford e-Telematics fleet solution. Charging back at the depot with a commercial power supply should take around about 8 hours, and we have a number of charging solutions available to help with that. And then when you're at home with a Ford wall box, it's also a convenient option. It takes around about 11 hours for a full charge. And you can also actually use a standard 3-pin plug socket and the mobile charge cable, but this will take a little bit longer. For top-ups on longer journeys, when you're out and about on the road, you can put up to 80% capacity back into the battery in as little as 34 minutes. This is when using the DC faster chargers that are part of the 16,000 outlet Blue Oval charging network. And access to that is actually free for 12 months with every single e-Transit as part of Ford e-Telematics. So there you have it. You can see charging is both fast and flexible. But what about when you're out and about on the road? We asked Kev Harris to see if in the time it took him to have a quick break to grab a coffee, he could pop his e-Transit on charge and keep those wheels rolling.
So as we've been hearing with the e-Transit and charging, you have a few options. But one thing that I've been learning over the last few years since I've been learning about electric vehicles like the e-Transit is that the place that you will most frequently recharge will be back at the depot in the evening or at home overnight. This means that you wake up each and every morning with a full charge ready to go again. And this is certainly the most cost-effective and easiest way to do so, putting the service station on your own doorstep. But what about if you're out and about away from home or perhaps on a longer journey? Where will you charge and how long will it take? Fast charging at an electric forecourt like this new GridServe facility here in Braintree, Essex is definitely the way to go when you want a quick turnaround, because they have reliable, super fast charging on site for up to 36 vehicles. Right, so the time is just coming up to 12:30. Let's see how many miles I can add to my range in the time it takes me to nip inside, grab a coffee, go to the loo and check a few work emails. Right, so there we go. I've been plugged in for 20 minutes and I've added 71 miles to my range, which is great because that's more than I need for the rest of the day to get all of my jobs done and to head back to the depot. And while this method of fast DC charging is not something that you want to rely on all the time, it certainly is a fast and convenient way to add some miles to your range. So let's head back to the dealership now then and learn about the rest of Ford Pro.
Now, sat in cab, you get an immediate sense of space and openness, and that is largely down to the fact that we've removed the physical gear stick and handbrake. These have been replaced with the rotary gear dial and the electronic parking brake, which you can see just down here. Now, heated seats and heated windscreen come as standard with all e-Transits. And you can actually precondition the temperature in the cabin whilst the Transit is on charge. You can do this using the Ford Pass Pro app, or you can use the 12-inch Sync 4 system. Let's talk about the 12-inch Sync 4 system in more detail because this is going to blow your mind. So Sync 4 is the control centre for e-Transit and is by far the best sync system to date that Ford have developed. With a built-in modem, e-Transit is a fully connected electric vehicle that works completely seamlessly within the Ford Pro ecosystem, which is the innovation from Ford that puts all of your commercial vehicle needs into one place. Now, maybe this is the first time you've heard of Ford Pro, and if it is, do not panic. We sent Tori Campbell to the Commercial Vehicle Show to learn all about Ford Pro and how it's been integrated into this industry-leading system.
I'm at the CV show here in Birmingham where we're launching the Ford Pro brand. The story is all about the connectivity and technology on board, which is really at the heart of the e-Transit. And I think I've just spotted the ideal man to tell us some more.
No problem. Take care. See ya.
Andy, can I borrow you just for a moment?
Of course you can.
Thank you. You're the Fleet Ownership Experience Manager here at Ford. So what I wanted to know is, what do you and your team do with the data from connected vehicles?
At the heart of Ford Pro is e-Transit and indeed the whole of the commercial vehicle family. They all have integrated modems and they're able to push data from the vehicle up into the cloud. And that has one single ambition, is to maximise the amount of uptime of our customers and therefore their own productivity. The Ford Live connected uptime system uses the real-time data from the cloud in order to liaise between customer, dealer and Ford Motor Company. And therefore, the idea is by taking the VOR, the vehicle off-road information, we are able to understand what parts might be required, what diagnostic routines might be required, and hopefully get the right technician in place to absolutely minimise your downtime and get you back on the road.
So as Andy just said, connected vehicles allow us to do so much more in terms of maximising productivity. However, being here at the show, I've realised there is a lot more to Ford Pro. So I'm here with Mandy Dean, Ford of Britain's Commercial Vehicles Director. So Mandy, why Ford Pro and why now?
Well, around the world, tens of millions of Ford trucks and vans are at work every day, helping people to get their jobs done. And whilst their work may not make the headlines, they make our world run, and they are what Ford is all about. And those customers are going through huge and unprecedented change right now. Businesses and organisations of all sizes see the promise of electric and digital vehicles, but they know it's going to be a complicated shift and they're worried about it. They want to work with a single trusted partner, not cobble together a bunch of different services to help them get this transition right. And that's exactly why we've created Ford Pro.
So here at the show and in your advertising, I've seen that Ford Pro is all about productivity. But what does that actually mean for your customers?
Well, our mission is to provide a seamless end-to-end solution for best-in-class vehicles, charging, software, service and financing, all from a single trusted partner. And we want to help those customers make their transition to an electrified future really simple and completely worry-free. But Ford Pro really comes into its own when it translates the data that Andy was talking about into the things that really matter for our customers, like improved uptime, reduced running costs, smarter charging and simpler administration. It basically brings together the 5 key pillars of commercial productivity solutions, so the vehicles, services, software, charging solutions and financing, all that just simply work better together.
Well, there you have it, Ford Pro and the all-new e-Transit. Now, I hope we've managed to answer most of the questions you may have had about the vehicle, but if not, please keep sending them in. The team here at Paynes of Hinckley will be happy to answer all of those questions. Or why not book in, come and see it in person, book in for a test drive, take it for a spin. You will definitely not be disappointed. Thank you very much for listening and learning all about the new e-Transit. Key takeaways are it is very much still a transit. It's simply now an electric commercial vehicle workhorse for the 21st century and beyond. Have a lovely evening and thank you.